set up correctly. If I may ask you, write me to the chat. Everything should be working. But just to be sure, please, if you can, write me in the chat if you can hear me correctly, because this is my first live stream in my lifetime. But seems it's working. Okay, so good evening. I'm glad you joined. At the moment for people, but anyway. Yeah, so today I would like to show you something from behind the scenes of my channel, Treblinka Explained. How am I working with the AI? What are the perks, peaks, like the positives and the negatives? Because the negatives are prevailing. It's really not easy to running YouTube channel about Nazi.death camp and use AI to create the visuals, because as you can imagine it has tons of content restrict policies, something like Facebook or X or all of these big platforms have something like this. Meaning they don't want to show sensitive topics, some sensitive historical events, some certain political ideologies, violence, basically anything that I need to show in my videos. The AI doesn't allow to visualize. But I have still learned some ways to make it. So that would be one thing. Then I got my books next to me. I thought that might be interesting for you, because I understand, like, to the audience it seems like my channel is AI generated, and I use the AI for translating scripts of my videos into English, because as you can see my English is what it is. But like the important thing is, like, those scripts are based on actual survivors' memoirs or books of professional historians who focus on Treblinka or Operation Reinhardt or even Holocaust in general. That's one of the things, like when you wanna make content about Treblinka, you need to know about Operation Reinhardt, the extermination campaign in Nazi-occupied Poland. Then obviously you need to know a lot about World War II itself, and like many more things. So I got many more books. I just prepared some of them that might be interesting. I was thinking that might be interesting for you. So yeah, maybe let's start with the visuals. How do I do it? Sorry, I'm really sorry. This is my first time streaming, so yeah. So, like, if you decide to launch an educational channel about Holocaust, and you make the decision to generate your visuals with the AI, you won't be satisfied with the results. It was episode 3, I believe. Yeah, like I needed I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, I just need, yeah. I wanted to portray a certain scene from the history of Treblinka, or like one incident that happened in the camp. It was on 9/11, ironically, 1942, and one of the prisoners took a knife and stabbed one of the SS guards. The SS guard was seriously wounded and eventually died in a nearby hospital. The man was beaten on the spot, first beaten and then shot on the spot by Ukrainian auxiliaries, and then he was shot dead by August Mite, the angel of death, one of the worst people to ever live, and one of the worst Treblinka guards. And yeah, so I wanted to mention this scene in one of my first videos that I have ever created, and I asked ChatGPT to somehow visualize this situation, and as you can see, he refused. I'm sorry. Yeah, as you can see, it refused to visualize it in a realistic way. Even the uniform of the SS looks more like of an American World War II soldier, I guess. Definitely not an SS guard from a death camp. So yeah, and this scene is still quite good. I mean, in terms of what you're gonna get as a greenhorn user of the AI. So yeah, then I wanted a scene where people are being run through the Schlauch to the gas chambers, and yeah, this was the closest I was able to get. It refused to generate weapons for the soldiers, so they got some kind of broom. So I don't know what this is supposed to be. And like that's it. No, I provided a detailed prompt of what I want, like how this Schlauch should look like. I will show you. I guess most of you know, but I will show you. It was a fenced corridor leading towards the gas chambers, and people were driven, beaten through this corridor, and eventually ended up in the chambers. Yeah, and I described the gas chambers quite in a detailed way, because we know how it looked from the survivors' testimonies. There was a Star of David on top of the building, and another details. We know the shape of the building and stuff like that, but it said no. It said me, the robot, the ChatGPT. It said to me, I'm not allowed to generate realistic images of the death camp, and even to reconstruct on, even if if I told him this is for educational purposes, and yeah, but he still refused to. And now I would just like to show you a picture I was able to generate a couple months later, because the difference is quite huge, and I'm kind of proud that I have learned it. I believe it was episode 8, the episode about Christian Wirth. Where do we have it? I'm sorry, this is kind of awkward. here it is. I'm sorry to keep you waiting. I will try to make it as big as possible for you to see the comparison. Yeah. Sorry, my face. I hope it's possible to change it like this in real time. Now you should be able to see a comparison of the two pictures. And as you can see, the latter one is it's not realistic, obviously, but it's much closer to reality, to what the path to the gas chambers actually looked like. So yeah, like there are ways to somehow like find your path during the strict content policies and the rules. It's mainly about context. You have to be very clear, explain to the ChatGPT that you are not a Nazi, or like that this is only for educational purposes. No violence. That's important. To tell him, like it makes him calmer. Like when you yourself say to him in the prompt, like I don't want any explicit violence. That's something I have learned that works, that helps. And maybe let's take a look at this better picture. It's about, I don't know, 2 months old, and this is hard to say. Like I would say like 80, maybe 85% realistic of how the path to the gas chambers actually had looked like in Treblinka. There are some mistakes though. I will explain why after a couple of minutes. The mistakes, obviously the victims went naked into the chambers, and that seems to be like an absolute no-go for the AI to portray nudity, or at least I wasn't able to learn how to do it yet. Maybe I will put it full screen. So the people were naked. That's one of the saddest parts. It's hard to compare or to make some tier list of what fact of the killing process was the worst, but forcing the people to undress was probably one of them, especially for women. And this happened all around the year. Treblinka was operational, like fully operational, between July is it in English? July 1942 and November 1943, meaning more than a year. And it was in Poland, where you get spring, summer, autumn, winter. And in a winter, we got testimony from a survivor. On one day, the temperature went as low as minus 30 degrees Celsius. I'm not sure how much is it in Fahrenheit. I had it prepared somewhere, but can't find it at the moment. It's very cold. It's like if you put a bottle of water outside, it would freeze in, I don't know, 20 minutes, maybe less. Yeah. So, and even in this weather, this part of the year, the people, including little children, were forced to undress and go to the chambers, which maybe wouldn't be that bad, but you gotta understand too, when a train arrived at Treblinka, or like when the transport arrived, it was 60 cars in total, and there were approximately 100 people in each car, so meaning 6,000 people in one train. And the gas chambers weren't big enough to kill everybody at the same time. So sometimes people had to wait their turn. Franz Zuchomel, the SS guard, described in the movie Shoah that first the men were gassed and the women and children had to wait their turn in this schlauch or tube, it's called, into this fenced corridor that was leading to the gas chambers. And in some cases they were waiting there tens of minutes or half an hour, maybe more, until the men in the chambers will die, until their corpses will be carried out from the gas chambers to the mass graves, and until the chambers get ready again. So all this might do like an hour easily. And yeah, in this freezing weather they were standing there naked. They heard the screams, the voices from the chambers as their husbands and fathers were dying. The survivors are describing various screams that could be heard. Like among others, people were like begging or urging the Germans to let them out, which the Germans obviously didn't do. Then prayers were heard. The religious screams like Shema Israel. I'm not sure about the pronunciation. And yeah, the people were promising God's revenge on the killers, and yeah, and it was truly barbaric because the gassing could take anywhere from 20 to even 40 minutes if things ran smoothly, yeah, because in Treblinka and Belgic and Sobibor they didn't use a cyclone to kill the people. They use exhaust fumes from a diesel engine, or most likely diesel engine. I believe some historians say it might be gas engine as well. But anyway, it was combustion engine running on liquid fuel, and these engines were irreliable. We got one testimony from an SS man, Kurt Gerstein, who visited Treblinka and Belžec during some kind of inspection, business trip. And he described that on that day when he was present, the gassing took around 2 hours in total, because the motor broke down a couple of times, or maybe one time. It took a long time to repair, and all the time the people were locked inside the chambers. The Gerstein says it was 750 people in the gas chamber, and we know the approximate measurements, or like the size of the chamber, and if you divide that space with the number of the people, it makes around 20 people per square meter, which is barbaric itself. There was literally not a single square inch, square centimeter of free space. The people were packed so tightly. They could hardly breathe and move. Yeah, that's what you see in the survivors' testimonies, that when the chamber doors were opened, everybody inside was standing, yeah, because there was literally no space, no room to fall. I was able to generate this image, like not realistic, but yeah, it might have looked something like this. Uh, um, yeah, the survivors describe like the limbs of the people were entwined, their bodies swollen from suffocation, sometimes even like turning dark or like not exactly black but with black spots on them. And the one thing that really like I would say explains the horror of this site is that all of the survivors, no matter the camp, no matter the survivor, all of them agreed that this is something that they couldn't get used to when what they saw when the chamber doors were opened, and that's something I find interesting because when you are reading soldiers' memoirs, frontline soldiers, or I don't know some policemen who investigated murders, like all of these people see various like, atrocities and gore on a daily basis, and they say they can get used to it. Like I was talking with a firefighter, and he was telling me that yesterday I assisted at a car accident and the people burnt alive before we got there, so I saw them burn to the crisp, and he was explaining it to me like this, and I was like, okay, so like he's seeing things like this every day, so he get used to it. But what the gas chambers look like inside, like all of the survivors are saying like a man couldn't get used to it. Yeah, so it had to be way worse than what I would say like any other people in the history of the planet like could have seen, because I'm trying like stay respectful or don't share all these disgusting details, but as you can imagine, or like it's a general knowledge, when a person dies, his belly will empty itself. I don't know how to say it like politely in English. So on the floor of the chambers there was like couple centimeters, couple inch layer or level of all kinds of body fluids. Yeah. So it had to be something terrible, and the prisoners in the death camp in the extermination zone of Treblinka, I'm sorry, were seeing this depending on what time of the year, which month, but a couple times a day, we might say, at least. On some days it might be like 6 times. Yeah. So like they got all the like prerequisites to get used to it, because they were seeing it on the daily basis, but all of them were saying like you couldn't get used to it. It was that disgusting. Okay, maybe I just take a look back at the studio if somebody asked any questions. And by the way, feel absolutely free to ask me about anything, either about Treblinka or the channel or anything basically. I will gladly gladly answer you if I know the correct answer. Yeah, first round. Okay, so maybe let's take a look at the books that I got on me. I guess I'm gonna start with this one. I just switch the camera back to me. Yeah. I guess this one is the most important one in terms of this channel. These are memoirs of Richard Glazar, probably pronounced in English. And it's the very first book about Treblinka that I have read in my life, and that kind of like hooked me, made me hooked, and forced me to study the subject deeper. And I'm really proud to have this particular piece because it's the very first time the Mr. Glazar's memoirs were published in 1994, the year when I was born, by the way. And my father bought it as soon as it was able at the bookstores. And maybe it's not obvious for you, I should explain. Richard Glazar, I can show you his photo. Richard Glazar was one of the only two Czech survivors of Treblinka. Give me a sec, please. Yeah, this it's not that good. Yeah, like this picture is, I believe, from either late 1940s or 1950, early 1950s. So after the war, but Mr. Glazar is still quite young here. So this is what he probably looked like during his stay in Treblinka. And yes, so there were about, the sources vary, but the numbers vary, but something between 60 and 80 Treblinka survivors who made it all the way to the end of the war. And among them were only two Czech guys from Bohemia, or from today's Czech Republic. One of them was Richard Glazar, and it's hard to say, but like he was definitely among the smartest, both camp prisoners and the survivors. Maybe smartest along with Samuel Reisman, a Polish Jew. And so his memoirs are quite unique because he was able to see the camp as an intellectual. Yeah, that's maybe one thing that I should explain deeper or further. Like the stereotypical stereotype about Jews is like they are educated, like cosmopolitan maybe people. But the reality was that those from Eastern Europe, Poland or Soviet Union, they weren't much like that. They lived in the distant parts of these large countries, and in the small towns and villages, and like they were quite simple people in many times actually. Most of them were tradesmen, craftsmen, like people who do manual labor, so no bankers or insurance agents or textile merchants or some stereotypic Jewish jobs, but quite an ordinary people. And many of them couldn't see weren't able to see the bigger picture in the camp, they saw the individual suffering and all those atrocities, and they describe it in more detail than Mr. Glazar does. But at least it seems to me, might be just my impression, but seems to me like they struggled to see to see like the German perspective, maybe, or how should I put it, or how things were organized and why and stuff like that. and it's sometimes that's what I was lacking in their memoirs. Of course, like, it's hard to say this because of course I'm grateful that there are any memoirs at all, and it's only natural that under these extreme circumstances people weren't able to focus on anything else than survivor. But Mr. Glazar was able to do so, and his book is really detailed, and it really is very unique point of view, his memoirs, which help you to understand some of the things further. It's maybe also some kind of cultural thing, because Czech people are quite close to the German. We are, I'm Czech by the way, we have been living next to each other for 1,000 years or so, or maybe like we are not actually similar, but the Czechs know the German mentality. We know what they value, what drives them crazy. Basically anything besides hard work and order, Ordnung. And Mr. Glazar was he was born near Prague and spent his young years in Prague, the capital of Czechoslovakia. And back then there were many Jews, many Germans living in Prague. So he was basically bilingual, or I'm not sure if this is the proper word. Like, he spoke German just as much as he spoke Czech language. So he was able to listen what the SS are saying, but what I mean, most of the prisoners had some German knowledge, even the Polish Jews, but they could mostly do the basic conversations, maybe like what I would be able to hear if I was in their place, like, take this, bring it there, work faster, stuff like that. But Mr. Glazar could actually hear all these nuances and what they were telling among each other. And even it's like when you know the mentality, you only based on a grin or a tone of the voice you can read a lot. And he mentions all of this in his memoirs, in his book. So yeah, it's really a masterpiece to me, because it's really detailed and structured. Like, he was able to describe his stay in Treblinka in a chronological way, but along the way explain step by step how every piece, every part of the machine worked. So yeah, it's really good. But on the other hand, I wouldn't recommend it to be your first book. To me, it was a first book about Treblinka, first memoir that I have read. I was around 14 years old, I believe. And with all of that I know now, like, I wouldn't recommend it to people to read it as their first book, because you wouldn't appreciate it, all those details, because you wouldn't know the context, what Mr. Glazar is talking about, because this is also important. Mr. Glazar had published his memoirs probably as one of the last ones of the Treblinka survivors. I believe first time he published it in Germany in 80s, and then eventually after the fall of the communist regime he was able to publish it in Czech language as well in the early 90s. And at that time there were already many survivors memoirs published. The movie Shoah was published, so like the people knew the basic facts or all the atrocities and like these things about Treblinka. So Mr. Glazar probably assumed it's not necessary to break it down again. So he focused. He kind of filled in the blank spaces that other survivors had left in their memoirs, and focused about the relations among SS, among prisoners, the camp hierarchy, and the speculation. The black market of the camp is very is described in a very detailed way in Mr. Glazar's book. He even mentions the exchange rates, just for example, for $10 gold coin, you could get 40 paper dollars. Yeah, so the gold was valued 4 times more, and for just for you to imagine how the prices. $10 paper dollars would buy you a small piece of bread, a sausage, and a small bottle of vodka. And $10 in 1942 was about $200 in 2025. So yeah, it was like not even a dinner, really, like a small piece of bread or semmel. It's a German word. I don't know how is it called in English. Like small piece of small bread, basically. So small bread, piece of sausage, and small vodka, 0.3 liters, which is about the size of this glass, and that costs you $200 in modern prices. Yeah, so like the people in the surroundings, in the vicinity of the camp, some of the people obviously took advantage of this whole operation, and the fact that the camp was full of valuables brought by the people going to their deaths. I will take a look at the comments. I will switch the screen. Tom Grom is writing. I grow up 15 kilometers from this tragic place. You do a great job, and I see all of your videos. Thank you very much. Really, thank you. I'm really grateful to every one of you for this kind of feedback. It really is helping me, because it's really hard. It's not easy to produce content on such level as I do it. And I don't want to sound cocky. I'm aware about all the mistakes and what could be done better. But still, even to get to this level for a total novice, new guy, ain't easy. Yes. So I'm really grateful that someone appreciates it. And if you say you grew up 15 kilometers, which is about 10 miles from Treblinka. Maybe if I may ask you, or you could possibly contact me on my Facebook page. You can write private messages there, Treblinka Hell on Facebook, because I plan to visit Treblinka again. I have already been there about 4 years ago, but I would like to eventually visit the place once again. And and also take a little hike in the surroundings. I would like to visit the Vulka, Okrągling, Stoček, and all these other villages and small towns in the vicinity of the camp, because I would like to better understand the atmosphere of the place, and somehow like get the feel of the nature of the of the area. So possibly we could meet each other, or you could give me some hints for some interesting places that I should visit in this Maukinia region. And this applies to anybody. Like if anybody is living in Poland, in this part of Poland, you may let me know. We might see each other or something. Amazing work you're done. You've learned so much. Wish to visit the site one day. Who was in your opinion the single one worst sadistic guard in your opinion? Okay. So thank you for the feedback. And who was the worst guard? Yeah, that's tough question, because there were so many monsters, and each one was twisted in a different way. I guess for most people it would be Kurt Franz. I will show you his picture. I guess that's what most people would tell you, and I wouldn't blame them. Like this guy. Oh, I'm not sure about this picture. If I may show it here, I will try to. Yeah, these pictures should be safe. So this is Kurt Franz. He was the deputy commandant of the camp, and eventually became a commandant himself, but it was quite symbolic. It was after the uprising. He basically only watched over the dismantling of the camp. Yeah, and this guy is mentioned in every single survivor's testimony. His nickname was Lalka or Lalke, meaning a doll in Yiddish, in the Eastern European Jewish language. Because of his face, yeah, because he was probably, I can tell, like quite a handsome guy, and the survivors are saying his skin was really like not soft, but as one of a child, yeah, so or like a doll. So yeah, this really was a bad guy. He before he came to Treblinka, he made a career in other camps, in Buchenwald and in Belzec, maybe some others. And yeah, like this guy was probably worst on the sadistic level, on the level of the when we are talking about the violence only, because he enjoyed it. He really enjoyed it. He was beating people for fun, shooting people for fun, sending, telling his dog to attack people for fun. And yeah, I guess every single day he either killed or has beaten to death somebody of the prisoners. So for most people this would be probably the number one. Another choice. Maybe I'm not able to say which one was worst to me. Maybe I will say one of these two. say this. It was Josef Hirtreiter. Wrong spelling. Hirtreiter. Yeah, this guy. Yeah, there are not many photos of this guy on the internet. But he was nicknamed Sepp. Sepp. I don't know how the Germans pronounce it. And you can see him going by this nickname in some of the survivors' testimonies. And maybe like where France, the previous one, was focusing on the primitive, brutal violence, brutal force. This Sepp guy was way more twisted. Yeah, like in various testimonies, most of them he's being pointed out as the man who had killed infants, babies. I'm not sure if I should disclose the ways, like the means, how did he do it. But yeah, like the less evil, or like one of the better ways of how he killed babies was grabbing them by their ankles and with his full body force smashing their heads against a wall or a boxcar. And and this was the like lesser evil, or the less evil of the stuff that he had done. So I won't disclose the others here, because I find it kind of disrespectful toward the victims. And you can read it in the survivors' memoirs, which is which is one of the goals of my channel, to get people read the books, because that's they will provide you the best like image. Yeah. So yeah, like this really was another bad guy. Maybe there is another picture after he was arrested in I believe it was late 1940s, quite shortly after the war, 1949 or something. He was, I believe, he was the first one of the Treblinka guards to get sentenced in 1951, I guess. I'm not exactly sure. And he was sentenced to life. But he didn't serve it, the full sentence. That's one thing that you will also find in the stories of all these SS men. Most of them were released eventually, couple of years before their deaths, on the health reasons. Yeah, because obviously when the Germany was renewed after World War II as a democratic country, the West Germany, there was a rule of law, and there was no special category for dead camp guards, prisoners. Like to the law, they were just ordinary prisoners. Yeah, so some of them were even released on because of a good behavior. Yeah, so they were sentenced to 7 years, but served only 4 or something like that. So that's also something I want to cover in the future, the Treblinka trials, because that's also interesting. Yeah, so back. I'm really sorry, I'm not used to talk like this, so I'm losing track with the original topic. But yeah, this guy, to me, either this guy was the worst, or the August Mita, the Angel of Death. Yeah, this guy. guess this is the best picture. Yeah, this guy, August Mita, he was nicknamed the Angel of Death by the prisoners, and he was Treblinka's executioner. I'm not sure about the pronunciation. Yeah, like basically most of the SS staff who were executioners, like they killed people on a daily basis for sport. But this one had it as his official job. His like his main task was running the Lazaret, the place. I will show you here from the Treblinka model. Yeah, Lazaret. Yeah. Can I make it bigger? Maybe like this. Sorry, just give me a sec. I would like to make it full screen. Okay. Yeah. So this is the Lazaret. The execution site of Treblinka. It was located near the railway ramp when the victims were coming, and its main purpose was to kill the weak people. Yeah, so either unaccompanied children without parents, pregnant women, old people, sick people, disabled people, basically anyone who wasn't able to run or like to walk to the gas chambers himself was sent here to the Lazaret. And yeah, like it was disguised as a field hospital. You can see this low wooden hut with the red cross on it. And the people were told, the old and the pregnant, they were told they are going to hospital and that they will be examined before eventually being sent to work or something like that. So they came here. There was a bench inside where they got undressed, and then eventually they have been called to the examination and ordered to either stand or sit on the edge of this pit. And August Mita would shot them in the head, and their bodies would eventually fall into the pit. I will try to put it like this. Yeah, so basically on this model, I guess this is August Mita shooting somebody who's gonna eventually fall into the pit. Yeah, so like this is his main job. Like this is what he was ordered to do. But this wasn't not nearly the only crime he had done. Because the Lazaret, this execution site, was located right next to the sorting square, the sorting yard where most of the prisoners were working, where they were sorting the belongings of the dead. Here you can see there were signs, yeah, like silk, someone was unable to work, Mite's duty was to take him away so he could be replaced. But he went way beyond that. Yeah, he, like some men, in the survivors' testimonies, sometimes the man could easily work couple more days or even weeks. But Mite, just because he liked the feeling, I'm the God who decides over life and death, said we don't want you anymore, and executed the guy. Yeah, so he went way beyond his orders. Not only with this, but also with inspections he was running on the prisoners, because in all of those clothing, as you can imagine, a person arrives in a death camp. He only has on him his last possessions, yeah, because he couldn't take his furniture or something like that. So he got mostly valuable items. Yeah, if somebody told me that I would be relocated somewhere further east, I would take obviously the most valuable things I got, because in case I would survive, I would have something for a fresh start. Yeah, and all of these valuables remained in the clothings of the guest people. And the prisoners, while sorting, inevitably were finding these valuables, and officially they were supposed to collect them in a place so they could be sorted later. But of course the prisoners took something of that, so they could buy that extra rations on the black market, as I was saying. And Mite he enjoyed doing random inspections of the prisoners. Yeah, so he came from the Lazaret to the sorting yard. Yeah, among the prisoners, and he just randomly he picked. Okay, you come here. Show me what you got in the pocket. And if someone has any valuables on him, he was whipped on the spot, sometimes beaten to death, but always whipped before being shot. It was some kind of psychological thing. Franz Zuchomel, another guard, explained it later. It was good, or it was useful to beat the people really hard before shooting, because it would break their spirit. They would resign to any defense. They would just pray for the quick end. Yeah, so it was kind of system. Always beat the prisoner before he was shot. Yeah, so hard to tell. Yeah, and nobody was safe. Yeah, to this Mite guy. Some SS men had their favorite prisoners, and were kind of watching over them. Yeah, so Richard Lazar, for example, when he got sick with typhus, his boss Bredov, which was also a big guy, sent him extra soup from the German kitchen, like a good soup. He sent it to the prisoner hospital so Mr. Gladar could eat some better food. And yeah, and although this Bredov was also a really bad guy, there was at least something human in him. Yeah, at least something, some gesture, no matter how small it was. But this Mite, he was he took his job too seriously. I guess all of us had at some point in our lives have met a colleague in a job who takes it too seriously. And yeah, and Mite was a guy like this. He took back to the topic. To me, the worst guard would be either August Biete or this Josef Hirtreiter. But this is like, I guess this is really only some matter of emotions, or like you can't measure who was actually worse. So yeah, I will take a look at the questions again. Would it be interesting to have an episode in the future about what happened to the guards after the war? Yeah, definitely. I've already answered this. I'm gonna do an episode about the trials and about their after-war life. So yeah, that's definitely something you might expect. Which book would you recommend as a first book about Treblinka? Yeah, let's take a look at this. Oh, sorry. Don't smoke cigarettes, it's bad, I just need it. Okay, so with all the stuff that I know now, the first one would probably be Samuel Willenberg memoirs. It's called the Treblinka Revolt in English, I believe. Samuel Willenberg. You can. I've been quoting him a couple times in my videos, and I would probably recommend this one as a first for you to read, because I would say it's quite balanced in a good way. How do I say it? Yeah. Because Mr. Willenberg like describes how the camp was working, his experience, what he's been through, and it's. I would say it's like right in the middle with everything. Like there are some atrocities mentioned, but not that much. It's not that hard to read. There is something about the camp structure, but also not the details, so you won't get lost in. It's quite easy to keep track on what he's talking about at the moment, and he was a soldier by profession in front of the war, so that's also interesting. Like he had seen the camp as a soldier. Like some of the military stuff, he was able to notice or to spot that. On the other hand, Mr. Glazar, didn't mention in his book. Yeah, so probably Mr. Blumberg's book would be the first one, and the second one would be The Last Jew of Treblinka. I believe it's called in English. I don't have a physical copy. I have an audiobook. It was written by Chill Reichman. I can show you his image. I will show you Mr. Reichman. He should be somewhere. Yeah, that's him. Oh, it's a small. Okay, so this is Chill Reichman. I'm not sure about the pronunciation. And he had spent most of his stay in Treblinka in the Totenlager, in the extermination zone itself, where he was dragging corpses from the gas chambers to the mass graves, and also worked as a dentist, piling out. I'm not sure, pulling out the golden teeth of the dead people was his job also. And his memoirs are quite good. It's it's really hard to read, because the extermination zone, that was the real hell in Treblinka. first atrocities and the gassing itself. Later the cremations took place. So yeah, like you will find things in his book that you won't forget. But the language or the way it's written, it's quite good. It's a simple chronological order. So since he came into the camp until the revolt, and so it's quite easy to navigate through. It's for me, it's the structure of the book is quite good. When I need to find some detail so I could quote it in the video or something like that. And so these two books for the start might be nice because Mr. Willenberg spent his time in Treblinka in the lower camp in the reception zone. I will put here a map of Treblinka. I have it. Give me a sec, please. This is not exactly the picture that I was looking for, but it will do. So this in the right side, it's the so-called lower camp, the reception area where the victims were arriving. Yeah, so here you can see there is a train on the side where people arrived. Here is the undressing yard where they were ordered to undress, and women had got their hair cut short. Sorry. And here you can see the mountains of the belongings. Yeah, so compared to the buildings, you can see it was huge because it was the belongings of tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of people. And Mr. Willenberg worked exactly here most of the time in the sorting yard. And Mr. Reichmann worked in the Totenlager, the extermination zone. It was separated from the rest of the camp by this earth embankment, and then with camouflaged barbed wire fence, so no one could. It was impossible to see from one part of the camp to the other. Here you can see the gas chamber building and mass graves. So yes, that's where Mr. Reichmann spent his time at Treblinka. He was pulling the dead from the gas chambers to the mass graves. And because Mr. The prisoners in the lower camp didn't know exactly what was going on the other side. They heard something. They could hear, obviously, through the fence, and sometimes they heard maybe from the Ukrainian guards who were moving through the camp. But they didn't know the details, and so the second book would be the book of Mr. Reichmann, because he spent his time in the extermination zone, so he could tell you firsthand. Then I guess the third one would be Mr. Viernik book. It's called A Year in Treblinka. I will put Mr. Viernik here. And Mr. Viernik's book is really interesting because it was published in 1944. Yeah, even before the war ended. I will try to find his photos so you can see. here you can see him in, I believe it's 1960s. He's building a model of Treblinka, which is also really great. Like Carpenter survived, so he could first-handedly recreate it. Even though his model is more like a schematic. I don't know how to say it in English. Like it's not very detailed. It's supposed to, because he had built this model for the trials with the assessment. So like the important thing at this situation was like to so the model is like easy to navigate through, or like it's obvious which building is which. So it's not as detailed as some of the other models, but it's made by a survivor, which is really valuable. And Mr. Viernik is really unique because he was able to move through all parts of the camp. Yeah, probably as only person, or one of the very few. He was stationed in the Totenlager. That's where he was sleeping and eating and stuff like that. But sometimes, because of his carpenter job, he was sent to the lower camp. So he had seen most of the camp with his own eyes as a single person, which is also very valuable. I'm sorry. He was able to see and write it down in his book. His book is called A Year in Treblinka. And I also don't have the physical copy, but you can read it online. I will give you a link to the chat. Yeah, you may read the full book on this website, which is really great. I will paste it here. Yes, so that's a book worth reading definitely. Just like, I'm not sure if I need to say this out loud, but it's not for everybody. Yeah, like it's some of the things, some of the situations he's describing. It's so disgusting. Like I would say I'm not really soft about this, or I got quite hardened throughout the years. But even today, when I read it again, sometimes it just makes me like pause and think about what people are capable of. Yeah, because it's really hard to read. Yeah, but if you feel fit, then definitely you should read it, because it's lots of valuable information in there. Then number 4, like this is don't take me literally, or like this is this order that I'm telling you right now is more like just like improvising, yes. So maybe I could make a better reading order someday. But another book probably would be Oskar Stravčinski's memoirs. It's been published in English. You can buy it on the website of Yad Vashem in Israel. And yeah, this is like how to say it, halfway between other survivors and Mr. Glazar, because this is also quite detailed, but still quite beginner friendly. Like you don't need that much background knowledge to actually enjoy it. And it's also very good structured. chapters. There are chapters about the black market or the culture or the daily life, and maybe what makes it a little special is that Mr. Stravchinsky was a little bit older than most of the other guys. I believe he was around 35 or even more. He arrived at Treblinka with his wife and children, which were killed immediately. And it's also a new point of view. So that would be another one. Then probably I would step aside from the survivors' memoirs and recommend a historian's book. It will be this one from Yitzhak Rat. I'm not sure about the pronunciation. Belgia's Sobibor Treblinka, the extermination camps of Action Reinhardt. That's like encyclopedia, yeah, or like you got everything you would think of is mentioned here, and it's really easy to navigate through. It's very well structured, and you get some history documents quoted in there, just as the survivor testimonies. So even though it's like science book, or how to say it, for professionals, it's still quite accessible for an ordinary person to read. So that would be definitely the next one, and then maybe the last one for now would be the Mr. Glazar memoirs, which I have mentioned earlier during this live stream. Because by this point, when you read these 5 books I mentioned earlier, you already get some picture of the camp. Yeah, like when you hear sorting yard, you will know what is it, where it was, what happened in there. When you hear lazaret, you will understand as well. So you are at that point you will be able to really appreciate all those details mentioned in Mr. Glazar's book. So yeah, but maybe I will try to think about this more deeply and maybe someday publish a video about books only and the recommended reading order. Another question, Mr. Ostrovsky. When someone will say that AI graphics is harmful, I will mention your channel as an counterexample. Yeah. Thank you. I'm just sorry. I'm not a native speaker. Obviously, I wasn't sure at first. But how do you mean it? Thank you. I appreciate it. Maybe I could show you the comparison, because here on the website, this is a website I sure can recommend you, deadcamps.org. It's being run by I believe he's British historian Chris Webb, one of the leading historians of the topic. And on this website you can find detailed photos of Treblinka model. Yeah, so I will try to find the gas chamber building. Yeah, so this is how the gas chamber building looked like based on the survivors' testimonies. You can see this Schlauch, the narrow path leading towards the chamber, the Star of David. On top of the building, there were even plants, I'm not sure what you call it in English, like beautifying plants, or what usually you put this in your garden to make it look better, and the Germans put it next to the gas chamber entrance. So this is how the gas chambers look like, and I can show you the image I generated with AI, just for the comparison. Give me a sec, please. Yes, so, sorry. Here you can see it next to each other. Like, it's not perfect. Yeah, I know it's not perfect, and it makes me mad myself, because I want to stay as precise as possible when it comes to history education. Yeah, like there were a couple steps. I'm not sure if 3 or 5 leading to the corridor, to the building, and I wasn't able to generate it. The AI, it's always a compromise with the AI. Yeah, because one time he generated the building good with the stairs and flowers just as I wanted, but he generated the people in a bad way, like they were going towards the camera. Then I was able to fix the people and keep the steps there, but he messed up with the German soldiers. Yeah, like they were waving rifles or something like that. So, and it's always like that. If you are seeing a picture in like an image in my video, it's the best one of approximately 5 that I was generating for the scene, and that's the one that was closest, or like the that was the best among the bad pictures. Yes, so just for you to imagine, like how much effort I'm putting into this. This image generation is by far the hardest part. It's like 70% of the time that I need to create a new video is image generation. And like on the other hand, I'm getting a slightly better over time. So maybe now it's not 70 but 60%, but still the majority. Yeah, so, and it's kind of frustrating, like not only because it takes a lot of time, but then I don't have that much time as I would love to for the edit, for example, or some graphics, infographics, stuff like that. So yeah, but hopefully it will get better over time. Okay, Richard Littlewood. Good evening, just like him. Greetings. Nice to get you here, all of you. I don't know if you would like to hear something more, or if this would be it for today. I guess we may slowly come to an end, because this live stream was primarily for me to learn how this even works. All of this is new to me. So yeah, maybe I need to take a break for a minute. So maybe I will leave this going for a minute or two if some new question will pop up, and then eventually we will end. So I guess this would be it for today. I'm very happy for every single one of you watching this and leaving some questions. In the next days, there will be a new video about how much the SS guards about their salaries and other perks of their job. So that might be interesting, just for you to imagine, like the lowest ranking SS guard was earning like 4 times the average German salary at the time. Yeah, so if you are an American, I don't know, the average salary in the US is around 5k a month, I believe. So the SS guard would be earning 20k a month. Yeah, plus all the loot and the prostitutes around the camp, and they were having quite a good time there. So we will take a deeper look on that, and I guess maybe I will make a couple more streams. I need to get more confident with all this, with the setting and stuff like that, because someday I would love to make a live stream with a Treblinka historian, like a real one. I've already contacted one of them, and that I believe that could be also interesting for you to hear a professional, because I'm just an ordinary guy who started a YouTube channel. So he could provide like deeper insights, and yeah. Okay, so I will wait one more minute if a new question would eventually pop up. But here, Mr. Grom, if you are still watching, sure feel free to contact me on my Facebook page. I will share a link maybe in here. I will share it in the comments once this video is published. And you can text me a private message there, and it might be interesting, because I'm some kind of hiker. I quite often I'm spending time in the nature, sleeping in the forest, stuff like that. And I would really love to like spend, let's say, 4 days, 3 days in the vicinity of Treblinka, and kind of get to know this part of Poland, because like for me it's really different. Yeah, I've spent most of my life in Prague, the capital of Czech Republic, a city of 1 million, quite a big city. And even the countryside in the Czech Republic is different than Poland. The population density is much higher here. It's like each 1 each 1 mile you get a village. And this eastern Poland is different. I remember it when I was driving to Treblinka those 4 years ago. Like you are driving for an hour straight, and like the surroundings are like still the same. Yeah, like forest, field, and open wide spaces. Maybe like not exactly Wild West, but you know what I mean. And it's different. The life is different. They're tougher, of course. So I would like to somehow talk with the people, maybe with the locals, and get a better picture about the place where all of this had happened. Okay, so no more questions. So this would be it for today. I'm once again I'm really appreciate every single one of you who was watching and who asked me some questions. And have a nice evening or have a nice day wherever in the world you might be. So see you next time.